It is finally done. We got the reveal coming up at the end of the video. But first we gotta go back to the beginning in 2020 when I bought this building after it had been abandoned for 6 years. Over this way, we're gonna have an ensuite master bathroom. Keep in mind, again, this has been sitting here rotting for 5 years. There's definitely some people that missed over there. Blech. We're gonna blow this wall over here out, open it up, and probably double size of the master bathroom. There's actually another bathroom on the other side we're gonna be absorbing some of. But first of all, we're walking up steps to get into a bathroom. What does every bathroom need but dual facing toilets? So from the roof leaks up there, you got ceiling that's caved in. With the state those original bathrooms were in, I knew I had my work cut out for me. The next step is everyone's favorite part of a renovation, the demolition.
This might be worse than train spotting bathroom. At least that one didn't have like those little yellow spots in the speed, you know what I'm talking about. Only one day left with dual facing toilets. I don't know. Kind of gonna miss them.
I reviewed all the old footage and realized I don't actually have any footage of the bathroom being framed out, but you can see how it was framed out as the spray installation is going in the ceiling of the bathroom right here. Bonus, I also found some unreleased footage of a feature I haven't shared with you guys. I added 2x12 headers across the framing, which will support double barn doors over the entrance to the bathroom. And these super beefy 2x12s will allow me to hang just about any barn door design that I can dream up. So stay tuned for that project coming in the future. So above me right here, we've got the plumbing stacks that we had to add in order to add the new bathrooms. So basically those are the big pipes that take everything from the toilets to the city's sewer systems. Now because we got a commercial building here, we had to use some pretty darn expensive cast iron pipe in order to meet code. And while that kind of sucks because I don't really see any practical benefit of using cast iron over PVC and it is way more expensive, it's bonus for you guys because the process of actually sealing in all those pipes was super cool. You're melting down these molten lead balls into the spoon of stuff that looks like Terminator 2 and then pouring that into the pipes. Just check it out. It's pretty cool. With the rough plumbing and electrical done, it was time to close up the walls. Now you can't use drywall in a wet environment like a bathroom. I used a cement board called Durock in the showers, anywhere that'll come in contact with water, and a product called Blue Board, which is water resistant everywhere else. At this point, we put the master bathroom on hold while we first waited to get the rough inspections done, put in finishes in other areas like the kitchen and guest bathroom. When I was finally ready to start working on the master bathroom, then I had that little brush with death back in February that put me out for a couple months before I could really dive into it. I did have a little work done though while I was sidelined. I had guys come in to do the dry pack mortar bed in the shower and waterproof the entire master bathroom, including the floor, because we're doing a curbless shower. So we pick up here in May 2022 to get going with the shower niche and tile. Some of you might have noticed that little niche in the shower wall. It's actually a super easy DIY kit. I'll throw a link in the description. You just do your framing to fit the size of the niche kit. Then use silicone to seal it, some screws to make sure it's secure, and then you can just tile right over it, which we will get to later in the video. But before tiling, I had to apply primer to all the blue board walls where we're gonna put tile on. The blue board is water resistant, but it will still absorb water from the mortar when you apply tiles, and that would be bad, causing weak tiles and so on, so had to put the primer on. I'm gonna be tiling the shower walls behind me first, and then tiling the floor. So to start, I've set up some ledger boards, which are where I want my first row of large format tiles to go on the shower walls. And that ledger board ensures the tile is going straight. The last thing to do for the walls was the shower niche. I used Schluter trim around the edges of the niche to give it a nice finished look, and then cut some pieces of the light gray tile I'd used on the walls for the inside edges of the niche. I then used some small dark gray mosaics to give the inside of the niche a nice contrasting pop against the lighter walls. So next up, we're moving to the floor. First thing we're gonna have to deal with is cutting little slivers of the large tile to run along the inside edge of the shower right here. I carefully cut the strips of tile on the tile saw, installed them, and then laid some Schluter trim on top of them. The Schluter trim is going to outline the shower, and because this is a curbless shower, we'll also set a straight edge so we can start installing the floor tile against that trim. After waiting 24 hours for the mortar to set, we came back with grout to fill in all the grout lines. I went with a light gray that matched and disappeared next to the wall tile, and a medium gray that contrasted the darker tiles on the floor and niche. We're back in the master bathroom building a wood slat feature wall. It's gonna have a floating shelf built into it, LEDs embedded behind the wood slats. And if this turns out like I see it in my head, then I think it'll be one of those next level projects. So with that, back to the workshop to cut out the slats. Before we put slats on the wall, we actually have to paint the wall that's gonna go behind the slats. And we wanna use a flat black paint because we just want it to kind of disappear so that the wood pops and stands out from the wall. After painting the walls black, I attached plywood slats to the wall. When the vertical wood slats are attached to these, they'll serve as spacers to offset the slats from the wall and give space to hide LEDs behind them. It's finally time to start putting slats on the wall. We're just gonna attach it with wood glue and nails. the slats up on the short wall, I turned my attention to the longer wall. First step here was to install a rectangular floating shelf. I installed the floating shelves first so I could precisely cut each of the slats above and below the shelf to the right length on site. Next up, time to install the slats on the larger wall, and I've hung up these black LED aluminum profiles. I'm just gonna use this extreme double-sided tape. This stuff is super, super high bond. We're actually going to deal with the backsplash here in this shelf. We're going to get a couple of the floor tiles and put the nice dark gray tiles on this backsplash so it feels like a little more luxury bath spa feel to it. Now we gotta install our tub hardware and the tub. Pretty exciting. You can see it's all come together. Plan is here, we got in-wall faucets coming out. We're gonna have a counter and sink running along this wall. The vanity is gonna be laid right here. And then over here, we've got this nook. I'm gonna build a linen closet here. Between the kitchen build out and the video dedicated to the cabinets in the master bathroom, I've edited so much cabinet building footage that I'm just quite honestly sick of it. I'm guessing you guys might be too. For those of you that aren't and wanna see more of the cabinet building, I'll throw a link right up there. But for now, we're gonna go ahead and skip right to the installation of the custom vanity and linen closet that I built. All right. If it didn't fit now, that would be embarrassing. I've got these doors, check this out. Well, doors, single door right now, because I got one of them in. It took me a better part of a day, but this is so cool. So, it slides in completely out of the way. Let's go get the hardware for the second door installed down in the workshop. Let's take a second just to admire what's probably the craziest door hardware I've ever installed or ever will install. There's just no angle of... We got one project left here, and that is fabricating a custom concrete countertop and sink. We're gonna have two bowl areas within one large sink that both drain into a center drain. Once I'd modeled the sink up in Fusion 360, I headed down to the shop to cut the sink form out from foam on my CNC. And for a more complex 3D carve like this, it takes multiple passes on the CNC. The first one removes the bulk of the material with a clearing pass, and the second and third pass smooth everything out. cut foam like this on the CNC, there's sometimes machine lines as well as places where you get a bit of tear out. To get a perfectly smooth surface, I came back with spackling and joint compound, which I sanded down. I then came back with some epoxy that I poured over the joint compound, and this waterproofs it so it won't stick to the cement. I then put the sink mold into a melamine form, caulked all the seams, and we're ready for the concrete pour. To make this thinner, I'm using my go-to Fishtone GFRC concrete mix, where I spray in a thin face coat. Then I come back with a hand-packed back coat that has the glass fibers at it and make it super strong and super thin. Some parts are as thin as maybe 5/8 inches thick, which keeps the weight down. This whole thing was only about 150 pounds. It could be moved by 2 people pretty easily.
All right. There we go.
With the sink sanded smooth, it was time to apply the finish. And once that dried, cameraman Cam and I could carry it upstairs and drop it in.
I mean, this is...
Drop it in 3, 2, 1. Okay.
Woo! It's gonna look sweet.
The last project, which I really felt was going to bring the bathroom together, was a live edge river mirror. And for this, I needed a slab. So I got in the truck and headed out to my buddy Bart Comar's place. He had a huge pile of wood in his backyard, and I picked out a really cool cottonwood burl slab.
Okay.
I just released a full build video on the mirror, so we're just gonna do a quick overview of the process right here. The first step was to use my CNC to get the slab completely flat. With the slab flattened, we could fill all the cracks and voids with epoxy and then rip the sides of the slab off, and those sides are what are going to form the top and bottom of the mirror.
And it's a big day because the glass guys are finally here. They're delivering the shower glass and the mirror so we can finish all that off and finally see the finished product in the bathroom. Now is a little bit nerve-wracking because it is a very, very narrow space. So basically we got to slide it through this section, get through the door at like a 12-degree angle, and it's going to be super tight. So, oh yeah, and it weighs 300 pounds. I saw their heartbeat skip there and started tipping. With the mirror installed, we're done with the master bathroom. It is crazy looking back to 2020 to what we started with dual facing toilets, the trashed party bathroom, and now we've got this.
shots, I want to show you guys all the bells and whistles of this bathroom. Check this out. Dual toilet paper holder, so you can have one roll under, one roll over. Everybody's happy or everyone's mad. Above me right here, this is actually a painting that I just did. I threw it together yesterday. I am no artist, so I'm not even gonna call it art, but I do think it came out pretty cool and fills the space above the toilet nicely. I documented the whole process of that painting in Instagram stories. So maybe I'm crazy, but I don't know. I think it looks pretty cool. You guys, I know, will let me know what you think of it in the comments. Moving over this way, we got the shower glass installed. And it is amazing what a difference just having the glass in. It just defines the space. It looks really cool. We went with a super thick, 1/2-inch, low iron glass, so there's no green tint to it. I know you guys are gonna ask how much it costs. So this piece of glass is almost 9 feet tall, custom cut to fit, floor to ceiling, 1/2-inch thick, low iron. These two pieces of glass here came out to about $4,500. So doing everything myself, I saved a ton of money. This was an area to splurge. For the shower, we did the infinity linear drain that is almost invisible. I went with the overhead rain shower, which I absolutely love. And then the handheld wall shower, because of course, you gotta consider the ladies that don't always wanna get their hair wet. So moving over to the whole ensemble here with the live edge mirror, the concrete counters, the vanity, we built all that here. It took a ton of time, but I think it was worth it. And I have to be honest, when I was looking at the bathroom with just the tile, and even just with the sink and vanity there, it still seemed a little bit cold and dark, but bringing that mirror in just pulled it all together. So we also added a little drop-down soffit here so we could have can lights to illuminate the sink, in addition to the LED strip lighting under the mirror there. One question I got over and over was about the placement of the drain. You guys commented that they're awful close to the edges of the sink. You do have a point. If I did it again, I would move them over a few inches. But unfortunately, when you've never had to design a building from the ground up and you have to pick out the locations of the drains a year before you actually design the sink or vanity, this is what happens. And they work fine. Doesn't splash. I can wash my hands. Nothing I can't live with. So with the vanity, we did these pocket doors that give you full access, and you're gonna have to pardon that I'm terrible at folding sheets, so that's just how they look. That's reality. I also added these panels, so everything is covered in Rayhouse Loft Elm material, which is super cool. So over here we got the freestanding tub. This is something I've always wanted, not because I take baths or anything, but just looks freaking cool, I think. And then of course you got the wood slat wall surround with the floating shelf, all the LED lighting that just really brings everything to the top. I mean, I'm telling you guys, when you're designing a space, having integrated lighting in the walls, in the mirrors, things like that, it takes some planning ahead. It definitely adds complexity to it, but man, is it worth it. We just put in the request for our final inspections. Pass or fail, I will be letting you guys know, and as soon as we pass, the full building reveal tour is coming out. If you like this video, make sure that you sub and bell. As always, I love all of you. Thank you for following me along on this journey. That's it for this time, and I will see you guys next time.